What's up, everybody? This is Chris Nichols, and you're listening to an episode of the Nichols and Dimes Show featuring Ciaran Flanagan. Enjoy. You don't know what I'm about to do. Big explosion. Ciaran, brother, what's going on?
How's it going, Chris?
It's good, man. I'm glad we're finally getting to this. You've had a hell of a journey. I'm stoked to talk about it with you.
Yeah, no, I'm excited to be here and discuss everything.
Let's do it, man. So, guys, I'm here with Ciaran Flanagan at his great spot here in La Jolla. We've got a gorgeous view right now. Kind of the perfect spot to promote the brand that he has going, and I'm excited to get into it with you guys. But Ciaran is the owner and CEO of Inergize, which is a cold plunge business he founded in 2021. He has also hosted various breathwork, yoga, and cold plunge events to promote the brand at different gyms and other locations, which has really built a great community around wellness in San Diego. Previous to founding Inergize and throughout, he has held a career in mechanical engineering and digital marketing. Ciaran is from Northern Ireland, came to the US in 2016, and has been in San Diego ever since. Ciaran, appreciate you having me, dude. I'm really stoked to learn more about the journey and talk to you about the business. I've certainly been a customer to a degree, and I'm loving what you're up to, man.
Thanks, man. No, it's been good to have you, plunging you and seeing you peeing.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Yeah. So I guess my background with Ciaran and Inergize specifically, I've shown up because we've had a group of friends that have come to support Ciaran in his business, and not just to support him, but he actually has an amazing product. They're inflatable, right? These tubs, these cold plunges.
Correct. Yeah, they're like drop stitch. So you just pump them up, and then they're like rock solid.
Yeah, and that's going to be probably one of the big differentiators I expect we talk about, because it's been there's a lot of these out there, right? And this has been something that people have experimented with for probably a long time, like centuries, I imagine. And the benefits of cold therapy, and we'll talk about that, but. The cool thing about this is I think it takes away a lot of variables that people run into when it comes to buying a cold plunge that might be heavy to move around, or filling it up with ice and keeping it cold, things like that. So I think it really solves a lot of problems in this space. So man, I'm a fan. I'm just a huge fan from the first glimpse when I first saw what you're up to. And anyway, what I was trying to say was we were doing these events. He would host events at his house, in his backyard, at different gyms in San Diego, and we would do like a yoga session. He'd bring in a DJ to bring in some play some music, a professional yoga instructor, and then Ciaran would lead us through a breathwork series to prime our bodies before getting into this 37-degree water and sitting in there for a few minutes. So it's been amazing to see what you've built, and certainly a big community has started to follow him. But Ciaran, I would love to start off with your journey, your life. You're from Ireland. Mm-hmm. You came to the U.S. in 2016. Could you give us the background on what brought you to the United States?
Yeah, so I was working as an engineer back in England, and I came, previous to that, I came over here for a summer after my college degree ended. Mm-hmm. And I first stopped with San Diego. And it was a stark contrast of lifestyle from like England, like cold winters, like not much going on, to like San Diego's beautiful lifestyle. People are surfing, like running in the mornings. Like my mind was exploded by how epic the lifestyle was here. Yeah. So yeah, like that was my first taste of it. And I went back to England to work during the winter time, and it was like black and white difference. So I knew I always wanted to come back. And then I came back and found an engineering job at like a turbine company. So I was just doing like the cooling systems and the oil systems for a gas turbine engine company here in San Diego. Wow.
And didn't you say, that's a pretty diverse background of experience, by the way. I want to ask more about that, but first, didn't you say you were born in the United States?
Yeah, so I was born in Philly.
Okay.
So I was born there. Was there until I was like 5 years old, and then moved back I moved back to Ireland, and I was there until I was 18, and then moved over to England for college.
Got it. Wow. Okay. Yeah. But your parents are Irish, right?
Yeah. Both of them are Irish. Yeah, my brother was also born in America, so yeah, we're the two Yanks of the family.
Love it, dude. So you had citizenship your whole life?
Yeah. So I've got the dual citizenship.
Nice. Yeah, that's awesome. Cool, man. So mechanical engineering and then digital marketing from the time you moved to San Diego. What'd you study at in college?
Mechanical engineering. So I had a master's in mechanical engineering.
Got it. Okay.
Yep.
And why did you make that transition from mechanical engineering over to digital marketing? It seems like a stark change, right?
I guess like I saw the life ahead of me, and like I saw all these old dudes in the cubicles beside me, and like they were hating their life. So I was like, this is what my life's about to go into. So I knew I needed to do like a 180. Like I needed like complete change of career.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just started like building some janky websites and WordPress for my like dad and friends. Actually, Devin O'Brien, he's on your show. He was one of my first clients.
Nice. Okay.
So I did him a website for like $200 or something like that.
Nice.
And
I didn't realize that.
Huh?
I didn't realize that.
Yeah. Did all that stuff, and then I got into e-commerce and like crowdfunding. So like that's where I kind of like learned the bread and butter of how to like sell online, and like that's my main skill set right now, like advertising and promotion online.
Okay, nice. So I imagine you always had a fascination with business in general.
Yeah. So I read the 4-Hour Work Week, and that like inspired everything. Like back in
Tim Ferriss 4-Hour Work Week.
Yeah, I read that back in England when I was like just in my first career, and that like blew my mind. And because like no one around me was like doing anything like that. Everyone hated their job, and that kind of like opened my mind to like a different lifestyle that could be possible.
God, that's so interesting. I was just listening to a podcast the other day with Chris Williamson, English guy, right? He has his own podcast. He lives in Austin, but he was making that same comparison that you just mentioned about how there's an interest, there's such a level of optimism in the U.S. when it comes to making your own life, and perhaps that is revolved around entrepreneurship in a way as well, versus in the UK maybe, where it's a bit more maybe, I don't know, closed-minded could be the word, but it's almost like the way you describe the weather in certain places, how it kind of changes the mood a little bit.
Yeah.
Do you kind of see what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. Like it's harder when the people around you have like slightly not as optimistic outlook. Like here it's just like, yeah, like just go for it. Like, you know, like back there it's like, ooh, like
much more cautious.
Something bad could happen. Like for example, when I was working my first engineering job in England, I like quit, and I was like, yo, yeah, I'm going to go to America, like figure it out. And I was talking to the head of finance in my job, and she's like, that's a big risk. Yeah. Like, what if it doesn't work out? I was like, what? It's going to work out. Like, that never crossed my mind, but like that type of mentality is quite common. So it's hard to like go your own path. It's already hard enough, but it just makes it harder when the people around you like aren't like optimistic about it.
Absolutely. And how did that feedback that you were receiving there, for example, from the counselor, versus once you actually moved here and started getting after it with your career, and eventually founding a company, how would you describe the difference in support that you felt from around you in the community?
Here in the States?
Yeah.
I would say like there's a lot more support. Like everyone's out to like help you. Like it's more like network based. Like, oh, like I know this person, you get the intro, and then it's a lot. I feel like there's a lot more of that here. And
yeah, that's cool. I also think that's definitely a San Diego thing, if I'm being honest. Like there's just especially in our community, the mutual friends that we have, there is definitely an open, I've lived in 5 different states in the US, and this has been a remarkable standout of the attitude that people have in terms of doing your own thing, building something. And I do talk a lot about how much I love San Diego for this reason on this show. And a lot of people naturally live in San Diego who are on the show, right? For this reason. So that's awesome that you basically picked this place. You came here to go pursue this type of life you wanted to have, because it really gels well together. Yeah, no, I got lucky. I wasn't familiar with the space, and like I didn't know like there's an entrepreneurial community here, and it definitely helps. Yeah, that's cool. Well, what was it then about San Diego that stood out to you? Why you wanted to come here? The lifestyle. Yeah. Number one, like it was very simple. Like my first day in San Diego, I was in like a little motel with my best friend. Wow. And we woke up early in the morning, and people were just running before work. Yeah. And that blew my mind, because like like that was like so simple, but that's hilarious. Because back in England, like it's cold, it's wet, and like you just don't want to do like it's just not common. Like it's not enjoyable, but like it makes sense. Like the sun's out, the sun's rising, like you're seeing the water, like, and I was just imagining how good you would feel going to work after that. And that like simple act, and like seeing people surf, and like everyone's fit and athletic, and there's hiking, there's other things to do rather than down a bunch of pints with the boys on a Friday and Saturday. Yeah, and I mean, that being said though, you do have an athletic background, right? Somewhat, yeah. Like I it's more like an Irish sport, like Gaelic football. Okay. So I used to play a lot of that back in like Northern Ireland. So what is that? What is it? It's just like, it's like a physical contact sport. You got 15 aside, and it's the same ball as a soccer ball, and you punt the ball, or like you solo the ball up to yourself, and it's kind of like a mix between, I don't know if you've ever seen Australian football, but it's similar to like Aussie rules. I see. Okay, so it's almost a little bit of rugby mixed in, sort of. Yeah, it's kind of like a mixture. It's harder to explain. Yeah. But yeah, it's like a mixture of a bunch of sports. Nice. But that was my main sport back in Ireland. Yeah. Okay. Well, either way, you've always at least been into a lifestyle where you're staying fit, staying healthy, and taking various wellness practices. Right. Which obviously eventually led to Inergize. But I want to talk about specifically the transition from working full time in the corporate world to founding Inergize. What steps did you take, or what did you experience, let's just say in the year or two prior to founding Inergize, that made you take this leap? I guess like values, like one of my values is freedom, and like owning your own business provides that freedom, and I've always wanted to do that, and I started like drop shipping products, like wellness products, and I got a taste for it. Like I was interacting with customers, I loved the customers, like they're all into bettering themselves, and I saw like an opportunity in like the cold plunge space, and I just wanted to double down on what I seen was working, and I just like went from there and like started sourcing products and developing Inergize. Yeah. Wow. Okay, so it started off with like just you doing drop shipping on the side. Right. What kind of stuff were you drop shipping? Saunas, cold plunges, compression leggings. So a whole range of stuff. Yeah. Yeah. So like what specifically made you want to do that kind of stuff? Things that are focused on recovery and wellness overall. Good question. So I before I got into all that, I was like calling a bunch of people. I was like, I don't know what to do. Like, what business should I start? I was thinking about nootropics, supplements, like sleeping stuff, like a bunch of random things. So I ended up like ringing a guy that had a weighted blanket company. Yeah. And he was selling at the time. I was like, so like, tell me about it. Like, why are you selling? Like, any advice? What's your one piece of advice for me? And he's like, make sure you love your customer. Yeah. Because I'm selling this company because it's full of Karens, and like I'm dealing with Karens every day, and I just don't want to deal with it anymore. Yeah. So I was like, right, I'm into fitness, I'm into wellness, I want to serve that customer. So that's an awesome point. That's so cool.
So yeah, that's what I love the most about my company right now. I'm speaking to people that are into fitness. They're like crushing it in their business or like their job. So and they're just looking after themselves.
Yeah. God, dude, that's huge, man. That's actually huge for me personally. Love your customer, because that's what's going to keep you passionate about something, because of the people you're working with, people you're serving. And I can even relate to that just doing this podcast, right? Because it's allowed me to reconnect or connect with people who have a certain type of mindset that isn't so common, a entrepreneurship mindset, right? And it's made me think out of the box already, just in the amount of time I've been doing this so far. And it's driving this exciting energy within me. So I imagine that you get probably the same type of feeling in the people you work with, and the people you're selling these things to, people who are willing to invest this type of money into the wellness experience, into making their bodies and their minds better and more and tougher, and all the benefits that come with it.
Correct. Yeah. No, it's amazing. Like I enjoy every minute speaking to the customer, and they even like give me ideas. They're like brainstorming on the phone. They're like, oh, you should do this, you should do that. Yeah. And they like fire me up. So
that's cool.
I'm very happy where I'm at.
Yeah. So did you have some sort of routine with cold plunging before you started to develop your own product?
I would usually do it like at nighttime, because like my sleep was pretty bad. Like I have like pretty restless sleep, and like the cold plunge like calms your whole nervous system down. Obviously lowers your body temperature, but that was like the main reason. I also I've went through like different periods. Like I've used it for like different things, and whether it's like working out where my body's like really inflamed and I'm in a lot of pain, I can use it for that, or like through stressful situations, like it's great for that as well. So you build up that stress resilience. So it like hits your vagus nerve and helps you train like that when your cortisol spikes and you enter that fight or flight, and like it helps you train that and bring it back down into rest and digest, and like you can deal with those fires a lot easier, and you can like not spiral into those oh shit like it and then freak out moments. It kind of like it's like water off your back and helps you deal with like the day-to-day stressors.
That's I think that's the biggest benefit to it. It allows you to, God, I mean, you said it perfectly, but I was gonna like repeat that is how important it is as far as making things that may seem like a big deal a much smaller deal, right? Because you're kind of mentally primed, mentally prepared by putting yourself through this exercise to get through whatever it is coming your way, right? And it just hits on so many things, like your physical body, your mental state. So it's a good all-rounder. So you used to do it at night, but I've also heard feedback that maybe that's not the best thing for some people, or because it kind of wakes you up. How would you describe the difference of doing it at night versus the morning, and for the type of person that might serve?
I would say like you probably shouldn't do it right before bed, like because it is very stimulating. Like you've got all these endorphins and dopamine and all the rest of it, so that you're pretty wide awake. Most people go for it in the morning. They use it to wake up, gives you energy, like it puts you in a good mood, so it's a natural good way to like set your day up for success. Like getting the hard thing out of the way in a way. That's what I hear from a lot of people like Joe Rogan, who's a big advocate for this kind of stuff. Like he'll do this every morning, he says, and it's about getting the hardest thing, the most painful thing out of the way first, so the rest of the day doesn't seem like that bad, which is in line with what you're originally describing as kind of the main benefits. Once you like knock out the hardest thing or eat the frog, then it gets easier. So how about like more of the physical side to it? That we just spent some time talking about the mental benefits, but the physical benefits of cold plunging, there's a multitude of them for sure. And I've personally experienced it. If I'm in pain somewhere, it helps
it helps it for sure. It helps relieve that pain, or it helps recover faster. Let's say I had a hard workout the other day and my legs are sore. I love doing it the day after, for example. And there's a bunch of science rabbit holes we could go down with this, as far as the doing it right after a workout and how that might affect hypertrophy versus doing it a few hours after, or maybe doing it after cardio. Do you have any, I guess, overall opinions about like timing on when to do it around working out, and how it might help some sort of recovery?
Yeah, I've heard mixed opinions, but from what I gather, like before a workout is when it is best.
I've heard that too.
Gives you like more energy. It's better for your muscles.
Andrew Huberman talks about that too quite a bit.
Yeah. But yeah, I love doing it after. I know it's not like the best because like it calms down your inflammation, but I personally love working out, sauna, and then end with cold plunge. And then that's how I like to do it. But yeah, people have different modalities.
Yeah. So how about when you add into the add in the heat to the equation when you do a sauna? How would you describe the impact on the overall experience of doing a sauna before or maybe after?
Yeah, so I was doing a cold plunge and then sauna after, but it's better for your body to naturally warm up.
Yeah,
so
I've heard that.
if you I know it's harder, but if you add in the cold plunge, your body like has to generate that heat, and like it helps your circulation, helps you just it's better for your physical body.
How about if somebody's injured or they're recovering? What have you seen, or what do you know about the benefits of cold plunging in that situation?
Yeah, so I mean, if you got like sore muscles from working out, like you've got the inflammation, it helps basically flush out those like toxins, or not toxins, but like the inflammation, and it's great for your lymphatic system. So you just flush out all the lactic acid and helps it heal quicker. In terms of peeing, it's great for like numbing your nerves. So like if you got sore joints or like sore muscles, it instantly dulls that peeing down, and like it helps you deal with it. Yeah,
that's awesome. Have you done much cryotherapy in the past?
I've actually never tried cryotherapy.
Really?
No, I've never tried it.
Okay, yeah, well, it's different. I mean, I think, it's obviously a lot of the similar benefits, but I think they're both good to do, right? They both have their different purposes. I think it's much harder to get into a freezing tub of water.
Right.
I mean, they're both very difficult in their own ways, but there's just something about water, right? So what has been some of the most rewarding feedback you've received so far in the past year and a half or so that you've been running the business from customers?
Just like getting messages or emails, text messages. Like, for example, the first customer I created the cold plunge for, I delivered it up to LA for him, and then like a few months after I got a text, she's like, dude, I love your cold plunge. I've been using it every day since love it the day since I got it. And like, he's just like messages like that, and seeing people like post it or for the morning routines or the workouts, like seeing their setup, like seeing it beside their sauna, and just knowing that it's like I know what the benefits of the cold plunge is going to do for them. So it's just very satisfying, like being able to help people get healthier and change like their habits.
Yeah, that's amazing. Is seeing the people actually benefit from it, them actually use it frequently. That's so cool. It's like, even for me, just starting this podcast, it's one thing to hear people say, oh wow, your podcast looks great, like, that's so awesome you're doing it. But then the people who are like, oh man, I listened to it. I listened to this episode. Amazing. I love this. Like, that is what really goes a long way, right?
Yeah, because you put all that time and energy into it, and like you don't know if it's going to be good or bad or how it's going to be perceived. Yeah. But when you get that little bit of feedback, it definitely gives you that energy and keeps you going. Yeah,
absolutely, man. So I'm curious about the space, the competition landscape. There's a lot going on out there. I want to focus on Energize when I ask this question, but what was top of mind for you when you were developing this product, and how you would differentiate it from other cold plunge brands out there?
Yeah. So yeah, for me, like, I guess I developed everything from what I already had, which is a DIY freezer. So I just like took those negatives and kind of transformed it into the Energize. So it was uncomfortable. The DIY freezer was uncomfortable. I had to replace the water out every week. There's no filtration on it. It was stagnant water. It didn't look good, and yeah, it was just like slightly dangerous as well. You had to like unplug it every time. So I kind of like took those pain points on my own, and then threw them into Energize as a solution.
Okay, got it. And how'd you come up with the name Energize?
Actually, a friend came up with it.
Okay.
Like, yeah, I was like brainstorming a bunch of stuff, and I had it all doodled out, and everyone said it was shite. So I had like a bunch of friends like brainstorming, and then one guy, I think he was in the bar at the time, and just like 7-Up height, and he's like,
yeah,
Energize.
Hey man, sometimes that's how it comes about, right?
So I was like, that's perfect, because like I said what I wanted in the name.
Yeah.
Like I wanted like, oh yeah, it's because the brand represents kind of what I have like what I go through,
Yeah.
and like what I want other people to like benefit from. So it like I the word I used, or the sentence I used was the brand's about like using your like changing your internal state, and like not grabbing for externals to like heal yourself and make yourself like better and healthier. And then yeah, like that's how Energize came about. So like inner work and energy, I feel like goes well with, the brand.
Yeah that, and I think a lot of founders take that exact approach as well. They describe the vision, and then maybe they get some support on coming up with the actual name that's catchy and embodies what they want to communicate or represent. I was going to ask you about am I accurate in saying that there's really like 3 aspects to the business? You have the cold plunge itself, which you sell, and then you have like, the events side of it, which includes, the breathwork side, and then I guess that could be two aspects of it. But I was thinking 3, because you have the cold plunge, you have the breathwork, and you have the yoga. That's typically what I experience in the events I've been to of yours. Is there anything I'm missing about what's a part of, any other products or services?
I would say most of it is like, yeah, the product more so. Like I will do like a few events here and there, but the majority of it is like the product based business.
Sure. So it's just more so promotion, the events.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Direct to consumer, and yeah, like brand building, such as going to triathlons or doing those workshops with breathwork and yoga locally. Yeah, and that's the majority.
Yeah, could you talk about the process you run people through at these events, like the type of breath work you do, and then what that does to the body before getting into a cold plunge?
Right. Yeah. So we do like the Wim Hof method, right, which is like the box breathing. So we do like three rounds of that. Like I run everyone through it, and basically it just gets your body like charged up, ready for the cold, and it's just like oxygenates your body, and it puts you into that it helps your body like go into the fight or flight. So you're hyperventilating, and like that's what you go into the tub for. And then when you're in the tub, you switch from your sympathetic state to your parasympathetic state. So you go from that fight or flight, like high heartbeat, like breathing very, very rapidly, to like slow, calm, meditative state after like 1 or 2 minutes.
Wow. Yeah, that lines up with what I experience when I've done these with you. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you're basically warming up your body. You're basically testing your body through a version of fight or flight before actually getting into the 37-degree water.
Yeah, you're kind of like inducing that stressful situation before you get into the cold plunge.
Yeah. How long do you typically spend in the cold plunge every day?
I do like 5 minutes.
5 minutes?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a solid amount of time. But that's kind of the sweet spot too, right? Like some people think, I've heard people do like 10 minutes. That's it's almost unnecessary at that point, huh?
It depends. Like you can like up it. Like if you're like on 5 minutes, then you can like increase it, and I think it helps with like the discipline of it, because
Yeah.
it does get easier as you keep on just doing the same time, same temperature. So like the longer you stay in there, like you've got more of that battle inside your head.
Yeah, it's
So-
really the mental side of it
Right.
at that point.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Huh. Yeah, this is good, man. So what is your next big goal with where you want to take Inergize? How would you, what do you focus most on right now in developing this brand or product?
Just selling a lot of units and building partnerships with influencers and other brands. Just focusing on like a good quality product, getting reviews in, and just like keep scaling it up.
Yeah. And how can someone buy it? Just on the website right now?
Yeah, just on the website, so inergizehealth.com.
Okay. Yeah, and we'll repeat all that information at the end so people can find you. Good stuff, man. Yeah, so one fun question that I'm asking everybody is, as you've gotten momentum with this journey of being an entrepreneur, founding Inergize, what is one entrepreneurial life hack that you've come up with or that you've identified that might be against the mainstream belief? Something that you think is unique to you, not just something that everyone talks about.
I would say like gauging my energy levels, because like I was always constantly like burning out and not like taking care of myself. So like just being in touch with my energy levels.
Yeah.
The Aura Ring is
Yeah.
great for that. So like
You have one.
yeah.
Nice. I've
So,
been
like,
thinking about getting one, man.
Dude, you definitely should get one.
Okay.
So there's a ton of metrics on that thing, but the one metric I look at is HRV. So HRV correlates to like how like stressed your body and mind is. So like, if I see the HRV like dip, I'm like, oh, okay. I need to like get more sleep. I need to like look after myself a bit more. So like, yeah, that one thing is helped me regulate my body and mind.
So you really benefited from the metrics on the Aura Ring then.
Yeah. Like the HRV is a key indicator of like how things are going.
Yeah. What does that mean? What is it?
Heart rate variability. So like the less variability in your heart rate, the more stressed you are. So that's when you have to like take a step back and like look after yourself, whether it's like taking a break or not working out. Or like prioritizing sleep, getting more hours in there. Because like the lower that gets, the easier it is for you to get stressed and like burn out quicker.
Interesting. And what you just named a few examples, but what specific changes did you make as you started to realize this data and the feedback it was giving you in your life to prevent this type of burnout? Like whether it was alcohol consumption, whether it was sleep, working out, coffee, what types of changes have you made to optimize your energy levels throughout the day?
Yeah, and like cutting out alcohol is a big one.
Yeah,
because my sleep's already pretty bad. So like,
so you cut it out completely.
Yeah.
Nice. Wow.
So yeah, like cutting out alcohol completely definitely helped. And then prioritizing sleep. So like I used to just try to like get like 6 hours of sleep, but like when you look at the Oura Ring, you're only getting like 4 or 5.
Yeah.
So yeah, just making sure I'm in bed for like 8 or 9 hours helps a lot. And yeah, that's like one change. And if I see it start dipping, then I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna try to like pull it back a bit and maybe go for a cold plunge instead of like working out, or do some yoga, do some mindfulness. Yes, something to like recharge that battery again.
Got it. That's cool. So like I find myself doing this too, where it's like you feel like maybe you're too you're too hyped up, or I don't know how to describe that state of mind or state of being you might be in. But I'm talking about the days where you actually realize that maybe it's better for me to do something that's calming for me, and my body needs to recover or it needs to reset, whether that's going into the cold plunge, doing yoga, stretching, going for a little jog, or going stand-up paddling in my case sometimes. Something that might give you more peace instead of going and throwing around weights, right?
Yeah, exactly. Because you're something a little bit less like stimulating, hard on your body and mind is always good. Like getting into nature, cutting out the coffee, like the stimulation, like just trying to like get some peace.
Yeah. What have you done with coffee specifically?
I've just had like an up and down relationship with coffee. Like I go on it and then I go off it, and then I like kind of go on it and then I start taking more. But I cut it out for a little bit, but I take like one cup a day now. So
nice. Okay.
Moderation is good for me.
Yeah, it sounds like that's really where everything has come to, is just the moderation across the board.
Right.
Yeah. And the cold plunging, I feel like supports that in so many ways.
Yeah, it definitely helps your habits. It gives you a bit more mindfulness, and it kind of gives you that domino effect of, okay, I'm looking after my body, like, and then you kind of like double check on what you're consuming then. Yeah,
it makes sense. Nice, man. Well, we recently started 2023, and last year 2022 was your first like full year in business, right?
Right.
So I imagine it was a year unlike one you've ever had before. I've heard a lot of people talk about 2022 being kind of a crazy year or a difficult year in many ways. It certainly wasn't easy for me. I'm curious if you could call out your biggest highlight and your biggest challenge from 2022. What would you mention? We can start with the challenge and go as deep as you want.
The biggest challenge was that the burnout. So like burnout, quite like just running the business solo took a lot of energy and time and like mental capacity. So launching the business was definitely like the hardest but most satisfying part as well. Like looking back at it was a very proud moment, but during it was a very tough, like emotional and like mental like battle. But I'm those two things are probably the best and worst together.
No, it makes sense, man. Like the launch is super exciting. You're following your dreams. Yeah, that makes complete sense. But then, and this is a trend I hear a lot in entrepreneurs who are getting started. Anyone who's starting a new business, new project, everyone's excited for you when you start something new. It looks cool. You're following your dreams in a way, right? But then there's kind of this period of no man's land. Things kind of settle down, and most entrepreneurs go into this no man's land for a period of time, and it adds up. And real life reminds you that life is real, right? Like when you say the burnout part, I mean, that's easy to know what you mean, right? You're obviously, you have so many things, unlimited things to do to grow the business at all times, like even right now, I'm sure, right? But like, what can you be more specific about, like some of the things or a certain thing that happened maybe earlier on that really hurt, right, as you're building a business?
I guess like around that time, like I lost my full-time job. So that stressor, and then like moving house at the same time, along with prepping everything for the launch, was like a lot of like stressors at once. So I think all those things compounded, and that was probably the toughest part. So the losing your job part, that's a big one, because it's like, did you kind of anticipate that because you knew that you wanted to focus more on this business? I could see it happening. A lot of like time was going into it. and yeah, like the industry was not as busy as it once was. And then yeah, like another aspect of it was obviously like you put a lot of investment capital into like building the brand and like launching the products and like getting prototypes. So like I was in the hole for a lot of money, so I was kind of banking on the launch going very well. So there's a lot of emotion and like fear and happiness, and like everything was like packed into it. So it's just a lot of like different emotions, and yeah, like the fear of like if it didn't work out, and that was pretty heavy on the shoulders.
Yeah, the fear of it not working out. Yeah, that's a big one. Like, yeah, I can relate to that, and I hear people say that all the time. Man, cool, man. Well, so the cold plunge itself, if someone wanted to buy it, and we'll give people your information at the end here, but like how much does it cost?
So we're retailing it at 5,190.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, and that comes with the inflatable tub and the how do you describe the
chiller?
Chiller. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. And that holds it at the certain temperature.
Yeah, it keeps it in the high 30s. Yeah.
How does someone set it up? Do they just fill it up with a hose and it's good?
Yeah, so it's like plug and play system. It takes 15-20 minutes. You just blow it up with a hand pump, and then you plug in all the connections, you put water in it, and then you turn it on, wait for it to cool, and then it's ready to go then 24/7.
Love that.
Yeah.
Okay. Hell yeah, man. Well, this is awesome, bro. Do you have anyone in mind who you would recommend I get on the show, given that I'm looking for a profile of up and coming entrepreneurs, someone that you think has a cool thing they're working on or a cool story?
Yeah, Josh, the videographer from Ocean Pacific.
Okay.
He's a good lad. Chris as well, the other Chris.
For sure.
Yeah, that lives beside you.
Yep.
He wants in. Oh, actually, I've got a good guy.
Let's hear it.
Rob McDowell.
Who's this?
Rob McDowell. He's my Irish mate from. He had a similar path to me. He's got he used to be a mechanical engineer, and he is now a tattoo artist.
Nice.
Right. So
okay.
He's got a funny story.
Very cool. Okay. Well, I'll follow up with you on that one. Appreciate that. Well, Ciaran, this has been awesome, dude. I'm glad we did this. I'm stoked to share what you're working on with everybody, and I can't wait to see how you continue to grow Inergize and help people just live these healthier, more balanced lives and become better. How can people find you online, on social media, if they're interested in being a customer?
So yeah, our website is inergizehealth.com, and Inergize is with an I, so INERGIZE.
Okay.
Health.com, and then Instagram handles Inergize Health.
Perfect. Inergize Health.
Yep.
Love it, man. Well, dude, thanks again, bro. This is awesome, and man, how about we check out one of your tubs right now?
Yeah, let's get you in there.
Let's get in there, huh? All right. All right, everybody. Ciaran, you're the man. Keep it up, dude. Keep grinding. I'm stoked to watch you on this journey.
Thanks so much, man.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. All right. Bye, everybody.
See yous.
Thank you for joining our conversation today on the Nichols and Dimes Show. Please check out and follow my podcast Instagram at nicholsanddimezshow. I'd love to have you subscribe to the show on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or YouTube. You can also find it on my website. I welcome and encourage any feedback you can share in the reviews so I can continue to improve and develop the show. Thanks again, and see you next time.